Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. Mingxian smiled and said, I know what can be used to help this young girl solve her fragile meridian vessels. Lu Zhou's interest was piqued. Well, what do you know? Old Fourth seems more and more likable now. Although he can be too crafty sometimes, he never disappoints when it comes to it. Although Lu Zhou had 1,000 years of memories and experience, he was not omnipotent. What item is so wonderful? Mingxian said, Lantian jade. Lu Zhou stroked his beard and said, a luxury item sought after by some merchants and aristocrats. What can it be used for? This Lantian jade isn't that Lantian jade. Rumor has it that there's a type of jade in the eastern seas that exists inside the bellies of fishes. It absorbs the essence of the sea over the years and is full of spiritual qi. A wearer of this item will find their skin as smooth as jade and their extraordinary 8 meridians as deep as moats. Nourishing one's meridian vessels in this way can temper them, given time, Mingxian replied. Something stirred in Lu Zhou's memories when he heard Mingxian's words. He nodded approvingly. Indeed, there was such a jade in existence. However, this item was extremely rare and difficult to find. Now that the cultivation world was in a lotus-severing frenzy, everyone was busy sprouting leaves. This was especially true for the grand cultivators who had experience wielding multiple leaves. Naturally, they were more confident in cultivating again. Every second was precious to them. With time being priceless now, nobody could spare their time looking for the Lantian jade. Lu Zhou wanted to think about another method when he remembered Penglai Island. He remembered a rumor about the Lantian jade many years ago. Hence, he said, send a letter to see Wuya. If Huang Shiji is there, have him send a Lantian jade over. Yes, master. Mingxian turned around and left. Lu Zhou studied conch and remembered the diary. He wondered if this young girl shared the same origins as the person who was inside that coffin. Anyway, it was useless to ponder on these things now. Everything would become clear once she was awakened. It was meaningless to rush things. Yuan. Yes, master. Protect conch well, Lu Zhou said. I will certainly protect little sister conch. Little Yuan waved her fist and bared her canine teeth. All right. I'll believe you since you've displayed such an attitude. Lu Zhou initially thought that little Yuan would grow jealous with the addition of this young girl. However, it seemed like he was worried for nothing. He could not help but feel the little girl had truly grown up. When Lu Zhou made his way back to the eastern pavilion, he brought the secret tomes with him. Duanmu Sheng followed him. He bowed and asked, Master, the coffin. What should we do with it? Usually, such an inauspicious object should have been discarded. However, when he thought about the unique formation veins on its surface, Lu Zhou said, keep it in the northern pavilion. Lu Zhou was about to leave when he added, have someone copy the formation veins on it. Yes, master. When he returned to the eastern pavilion, he did not meditate on the heavenly writing scrolls immediately. As usual, he checked the old parchment drawing for any changes on the map. Like before, he could see all 9 provinces of Great Yan and Penglai Island in the oceanic regions. According to the system's mission and Huang Shiji's statement, the Lua woman most likely visited Penglai Island before. When he thought about this, Lu Zhou wondered if this Lua woman was from the same place the coffin's occupant was since she could help Yuntian Luo attain the 8-leaf stage. Lu Zhou opened the secret tome. He went through it again. The cultivation methods recorded in the earlier parts of the book were basically the same as Great Yan. After checking it thrice, he noticed nothing strange about it. When he reached the part where the 9-leaf cultivation method, apart from the smudged sentences, he saw the same words, the people here are weak, but it's very safe here. Weak? How is weak equated to safe? Also, why did the coffin's occupant wish that there would be no 9-leaf cultivators here? Zhou had an inkling that the key to reaching the 9-leaf stage from the 8-leaf stage lay here. He continued to flip through the pages. A red lotus was printed on the center of the book's back cover. The 9 leaves were lifelike. Perhaps, it was due to the coffin owner's hesitation, he drew a few lines over the lotus. There was a line that read, "Nobody can live forever." There was nothing else. When he read this final sentence, he noticed that it was written with heavy strokes that seemed to bleed to the back of the page. Could this be a kind of truth that he believed in? Zhou was puzzled. He placed the book on the table and no longer read it. The remainder of his time should be spent meditating on the heavenly writing scrolls. If the Lua woman truly had a connection with Penglai Island, Zhou would have to go there. Without the extraordinary power to keep himself safe, he would have fooled to solely rely on the item cards to keep him safe. I won't agree to a losing deal, no matter what. In Moonlight Woodland, far away from the southwestern part of Great Yen, a perpetual mist hung over an area that rarely saw the sun. Only the moon was commonly seen hanging above the branches. Through the thin layer of mist, the moonlight made this place look like paradise. Yi Tianqin, fully clad in white, stopped under a tree. She took a sip from the water skin and hung it on her waist. Is it really here? Yi Tianqin pushed away from the ground and flew toward the depths of the forest. The 100-meter-tall trees and the seemingly endless forest made her feel that she was in the wrong place. Misty Forest, Moonlight Woodland. This was a place away from the other tribes. It was said that those who entered the Misty Forest would forever be lost until their eventual demise in the forest. Many other tribesmen cultivators would only attempt to capture some low-rank beasts at the periphery of the forest. Yi Tianqin had one objective, and that was to find Zhenghai. She walked and stopped in the dense forest. When she encountered massive beasts, she chose to hide and avoid them. When she encountered winged beasts that navigated the trees with ease, she chose to lay low and conceal her presence. Sometimes, she would make mistakes and had no choice but to fight the beasts. This, naturally, meant she would get hurt as well sometimes. It had been more than 10 days since she came to the Moonlight Woodland and ventured deep into the Misty Forest. Every 10 days, she would feel thirsty. That was when she would drink. As the rumors suggested, it seemed like she had already lost her way a long time ago. After resting, she continued on her journey among the tree. Yo! A unique sound caught her attention at this moment. It resounded throughout her surroundings. She frowned. Her experience in the Misty Forest told her that this was a unique beast. She slowed down and stuck close to the ground as she concealed her aura. The mist hung in the air. She could not see anything ahead of her. All she could do was hold her breath. Creak. 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 The sound was getting closer. Yi Tianqin felt an intense and dangerous aura approaching her. It was much more overbearing than all the combined auras of the beasts she had encountered. At this moment, the mist of the Misty Forest was swept away. Yi Tianqin gritted her teeth lightly. Her palms were drenched in sweat. She was like a divine flower in the grass, as white as snow. Although she was motionless, she still stuck out like a sore thumb. The beast was not coming at her from her front, left, or right. Above. Yi Tianqin's curiosity caused her to slowly look up. The moment she looked up, she saw something that she would not forget anytime soon. A pair of faint golden eyes could be vaguely seen through the thin mist. They were as large as soccer balls as they moved about. Yi Tianqin's heart thumped against her ribcage. Her eyes were filled with awe. Creak. Creak. The vicious beast seemed to be inching closer toward her. Its huge head passed through the mist and appeared before Yi Tianqin. What made her heart race further was that the spot on which she stood was where the beast's nose was. It seemed to be sniffing in search of food. Yi Tianqin was only as large as its nostril. She had never seen such a huge beast before. Shit. There was a saying in Buddhist teachings that all meetings were the will of the heavens. All encounters were fated. There was no such thing as being early or late. You would meet the very person you were supposed to meet at the right time. The beast's fur was completely white. Its nose was sharp. It had 2 huge horns on its head. Its eyes were narrow and slender like the crescent moon. It was squinting as it looked at Yi Tianxin as though trying to figure out if she was food or something else. Yi Tianxin dared not move. Although she was a 6-leaf cultivator, she was not confident she could escape from this colossal creature. It was no wonder people said only 8-leaf cultivators dared to venture deep into the 4 forests. Yi Tianxin could not see its body. She could only see its head. If she had to describe its looks, she would say that it resembled a slenderer version of a white fox.
Yo!
The beast cried out. Run! Yi Tianxin pushed away all distracting thoughts as she unleashed her avatar. Whiz! Her 6-leaf golden lotus avatar rose to a height of 70 feet. Grand technique. Yi Tianxin turned and fled. Strangely, she felt a gust of wind before she felt her body and avatar being wrapped by something. It felt as though the world was spinning and being tossed in the air before falling down at the same time. She could not control her primal chi at all.
Yo!
Another sharp cry rang in the air. Yi Tianxin finally landed. To be precise, it felt she had landed on soft white feathers. She did not have time to check her surroundings when a strong wind blew against her. This is bad. Yi Tianxin conjured up her primal chi and formed an energy shield to block the wind. Swoosh. 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 Realization suddenly dawned on Yi Tianxin, she was on the back of the beast. The massive beast was carrying her as it navigated through the forest at a blinding speed. After what seemed like hours of running, the thin layer of mist faded. The layer that hung in the air parted. The beast was moving with lightning speed as it carried Yi Tianxin on its back. Every stride it took covered several hundred meters. She could see more clearly now. Under the moonlight, it seemed to be 150 feet long. Apart from the white patch on its head, the beast was yellow in color. Against the moon, it leaped off a cliff. A name surfaced in Yi Tianxin's mind. Zhenghai. The fair folk had described Zhenghai to be shaped like a fox with spikes on its back. Its rider would gain 2,000 years of life. She had finally found it. But why is Zhenghai jumping off a cliff with me?
Yo!
The fall seemed to go on forever as though they were falling into a bottomless abyss. When they descended, she saw countless vines and winged beasts. Some of them were even larger than Zhenghai. They circled the cliff face and let out deafening howls that resounded through the chasm. At this moment, Yi Tianxin finally realized there was a possibility she would be stuck in this abyss forever. 7 days had passed by in the blink of an eye. In the eastern pavilion of the Evil Sky Pavilion, Zhou opened his eyes. He confirmed that his extraordinary power was fully replenished. Then, he confirmed his remaining merit points. Merit points, 59,880 points. He did not have to use them to buy more item cards. Besides, with his current cultivation base, using item cards was no longer economical. Moreover, he could always purchase them at the last minute to avoid unnecessary troubles anyway. Zhou stood up and left the eastern pavilion. When he saw his master coming out, Mingxirin walked up to meet him. Master, 7th junior brother has replied. He said that Island Master Huang is preoccupied at the moment as the Nether Sect is fighting Yu Province, Mingxirin said. Did he mention the Lantian Jade? Zhou asked, puzzled. Island Master Huang said that the Lantian Jade is still on Penglai Island. He'll invite you to the island and present it to you himself. Zhou nodded when he heard this. Very well. Ding. Killed a target. Reward, 10 merit points. Ding. Killed a target. Reward, 10 merit points. Notifications from the system kept ringing in his ear. The sources of the merit points were from Yu Shangrong and Si Wuya. Zhou stroked his beard lightly and looked in the direction of Yu Province. Can you conquer the divine capital in 6 months? I'll be visiting Penglai Island. Can you and Duanmusheng look after Golden Court Mountain while I'm gone? Lu Zhou asked as he looked at Mingxirin. Of course. It's not a problem at all. Mingxirin thought, I'll be damned if there's a problem. Now that everyone knows there's a 9-leaf cultivator in the Evil Sky Pavilion, only a fool would try to look for trouble here. That's great. You should cultivate harder in the meantime. You shouldn't hesitate too much in the matter of severing your lotus, Lu Zhou said. Yes, master. It's nothing but severing my lotus. I can do it in just an instant. Coincidentally, as Mingxirin spoke, Duanmusheng happened to enter the eastern pavilion with his overlord spear in his hand. Old Fourth. Where did he go? Mingxirin shuddered. He bowed at Lu Zhou and hurriedly said, I have something to attend to, master. I'll take my leave. He vanished from sight in just a blink of an eye. Duanmusheng stood outside the eastern pavilion as he bowed and said, Greetings, master. What is it? Have you seen Fourth Junior Brother? I've developed a new spear technique. Lu Zhou nodded in satisfaction and said, It's good seeing both of you helping each other out. Thank you for your praise, master. I'll certainly do all I can to help Fourth Junior Brother. Ding. Discipline Duanmusheng. Reward, 200 merit points. Ding. Disciplined Mingxirin. Reward, 200 merit points. I disciplined the two of them with this sentence? Lu Zhou looked in the direction in which Mingxirin left and shook his head. He left the eastern pavilion and went to the southern pavilion. He saw Conk sitting alone on the stone bench outside the hall and called out to her, Conk. Conk turned and saw a gentle-looking Lu Zhou. She smiled as she leaped off the stone bench and walked up to him. You're here. Lu Zhou observed her condition again. Conk was in great shape. Everything about her was normal. She did not seem to be affected by Tiango. Tiango's shrill cry and reflecting sound technique was not something that could be easily withstood by mortals. Yet, she seemed completely unaffected. If she could start cultivating, it might not be a bad idea to accept her as a disciple as well. The bright moon shines over the sea, from far away we share this moment together, but it can be shelved for all I care. Will you come with me to Penglai Island? Lu Zhou asked. Conk nodded. Just when the two of them were preparing to leave, little Yuan ran out with a set of light blue garments in her hands. Greetings, master. Lu Zhou looked at little Yuan curiously. This little girl loved a lively scene. It was highly likely that she wanted to follow him. What is it? Little Yuan walked up to Conk and muttered, This is the cloud feather raiment second senior brother gave me. I'll give. Lend it to you. You can return it to me when you're as strong as I am, alright? Conk glanced at the cloud feather raiment and nodded. Thank you, elder sister Yuan. You're welcome. The two of them went into the room as she helped Conk change into her new clothes. They were of similar build and height. Conk resembled a fairy even more after she donned the cloud feather raiment. Their friendship exceeded Lu Zhou's expectations. Little Yuan stood in front of Lu Zhou and said, Safe journey, master. You don't want to go? Lu Zhou asked as he stroked his beard. He was not used to this little girl being this mature. Huh? What are you standing around for? Let's go. Lu Zhou turned around. Little Yuan. She thought to herself, Can I have my cloud feather raiment back? Lu Zhou planned to bring little Yuan with him all along. Conk was not a cultivator yet. He felt safer with little Yuan looking after her. The three of them rode on Wizard and left the Evil Sky Pavilion as they flew southeast. After flying for an entire day, the three of them appeared above the seas in the east. They rested for a while when they finally landed. Master, there's an island hanging in the air. Little Yuan seemed to have chanced upon a new world as she pointed toward the faraway skies. The floating island could be clearly seen in the clear, cloudless skies. It seemed near and far away at the same time. Just when Zhou nodded in reply, a voice reached his ears. Greetings, old senior G. Zhou was slightly taken aback. Did someone recognize him? As he wondered, he turned around and saw a middle-aged cultivator leading dozens of sword cultivators behind him. Zhou studied him. He was certain he did not know this man. Then, he said, "Have we met?" The man laughed. He studied Zhou and said, "I say, dear old man. With your appearance, I've nearly taken you as the genuine one." Zhou was puzzled. "What do you mean?" "I'm Taishu Academy's Grand Elder, Jiang Lizzie. I was invited by the Penglai sect to lend them a helping hand. Old mister, during my journey, you're the third imposter I've met." "You look like him the most," Jiang Lizzie said with a smile. Zhou's expression darkened as he sternly asked, "Who has the audacity to pretend to be me?"